Welcome to the State of the Nation. We aim to bring you all the latest news about the turmoil brewing in the UK. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the latest news and content from around the UK. The cycle of blame persists. It appears relentless. Each party is quick to assign fault. Labour accuses the Conservatives, while the Conservatives return the favour. Both must recognise their shared responsibility for the current economic challenges we face. The Conservatives were in power for 14 years, preceded by 13 years under Labour. During 13 years under Labour, the national debt nearly tripled. Recall that it was Gordon Brown, then Chancellor of the Exchequer for Labour, who made the controversial decision to sell off nearly half of the UK's gold reserves in a series of auctions when gold prices were at rock bottom. This sale amounted to 395 tonnes, generating approximately $3.5 billion at the time. Given that gold prices have increased at an average of 8% annually from 1999 to 2024, if those reserves were sold today, their worth would exceed £21 billion. This instance underscores just one facet of the previous Labour government's mismanagement. What we are witnessing is historical neglect of the country's finances by both parties, which amplifies the need for change in British politics even more. Now let's listen to Starmer try to tell us how he was left with a broken government as he continues to point the finger.
The low-growth Tory trap that for 14 years decimated public services, destroyed our economic foundations, and made working people pay the price. Now, mark my words, that era is now over. We are turning the page on Tory decline, closing the book on their austerity and chaos. Those days are done. They're behind us, and change is here.
What specific change is he alluding to? Is he suggesting higher taxes or an increase in immigration? In the next segment, he continues to place blame on the Conservatives for the failing prison system and inadequate immigration policies, but fails to mention the fact that he has no plan for immigration and his answer to the overcrowded prisons is to reduce prison sentences by 40% for everyone, including violent offenders. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I mean, just look at the state of our prisons last week. Where's the Tory apology for that? Watching the prison population rise while they dithered. Too weak either to reform sentencing or build new places. Too scared to conduct a proper spending review, as we've done. Because the damage they knew it would uncover. Oh, they knew. That's why they ran away from that exercise and called an early election instead. They knew our public services were broken. They knew there's a black hole in the public finances. £22 billion of unfunded spending this year, wasting the reserves 3 times over on Rwanda, asylum hotels, propping up a failing train companies. And that's before we even get to the long-term challenges ignored for 14 years. An economy riddled with weakness on productivity and investment. A state that needs urgent modernisation to face down the challenges of a volatile world. A country where people don't just lack faith in politicians to fix any of this, but also wonder whether Britain can, whether we still have the resources to move forward, or whether decline is now an incurable disease. They knew all of that.
As the blame game continues, he further directs criticism towards the Conservatives, revisiting the historical shortcomings of their policies and initiatives. However, he again overlooks the numerous historical failures attributed to Labour, which are significant in number. Let's listen to his views on this.
That's the reality of what would happen if we'd stuck to Tory spending plans. And it's why we never, unlike the opposition in 1997 and 2010, committed to the same spending plans. And yes, things are worse than we could possibly have expected during the election. And the budget will set that out very clearly.
In this final clip, Starmer discusses the importance of reducing government spending, emphasising that the British public does not support higher taxes. However, he also notes the need for realism in addressing fiscal issues. If he were truly committed to this principle, he might reflect on his party's spending habits, particularly regarding taxpayer money. For instance, the tax-free pension system he benefits from is funded by the public, and many would argue that it is not justified. Additionally, the expenditure on personal photographers for Angela Rayner raises further concerns about responsible financial management. These examples highlight ongoing fiscal decisions that seem to incur costs without delivering tangible benefits to the British people. Let's see what he has to say.
We will also be ruthless in clamping down on government waste, just as we will be ruthless on clamping down on tax avoidance, so the British people can see that every penny counts. Now, every single person in this country had to do that during the cost of living crisis. And government must be no different. And frankly, when we're asking broader shoulders to carry a higher burden on tax, that determination to be more productive and efficient in government, that's the very least their contribution deserves. And look, nobody wants higher taxes, just like nobody wants public spending cuts. But we have to be realistic about where we are as a country. This is not 1997, when the economy was decent, but public services were on their knees. And it's not 2010, where public services were strong, but the public finances were weak. We have to deal with both sides of that coin. These are unprecedented circumstances. But the budget the Chancellor will deliver on Wednesday will prevent devastating austerity in our public services and prevent a disastrous path for our public finances.
Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments about the current state of the nation.